What is going on, everyone? ArkhamFan30 here today, and we have a figure that won't stay in frame. Alright. K2SO figure review, take 2, and action. Alright, everyone, what's going on? ArkhamFan30 here, and today we have a figure that will stay in focus. Or frame, I should say. This is the K2SO figure from the Star Wars Black Series Rogue One line. This figure stands... Oh, no, you're not falling again on me, buddy. No, no. Alright, he stands. Let's get to inches. This figure stands about 7 inches tall, which is a pretty tall figure. He's about the same size as the Black Series Chewbacca. And Chewbacca is a pretty tall figure. So I'd say that you're getting your money's worth for $20 with this figure. And I just don't mean for the size. This figure is worth $20. This figure may not come with any accessories, and that's its only downfall. But for $20, the amount of articulation in this figure is just absolutely amazing. For this figure to be able to do this, I mean, that's pretty amazing. You can make him a horse if you wanted to. All you gotta do is twist his head, make his arms go backwards, same as his legs, and fold out his hands, twist his feet around. You got yourself a little K2SO horsey. Ta-da! And we'll get more into that with articulation, but first, I just want to go over of how amazing this figure is. I do absolutely love it. This figure, whoop, forgot to turn his feet around. This figure, the amount of detail and like the wear and tear that they put on this figure, the paint apps, everything is just so great about this figure. And I mean, you could see all the what do you call it, battle damage that's all over this figure, all this wet, all the dry brushing all over the figure, these silver parts. I mean, you could really tell that this figure's seen some action, and I love the way that they made the joints. Like, I love these arms. I mean, it's just so good. I mean, I just can't get over it. And the paint right here on this little like Tetris shape thing looks good. There's no rubbing or anything going onto the black or anything. And I mean, everything on this figure, all the paint wise, is meant to be the way it is. And you can't say that about a lot of figures, because sometimes some figures are sloppy. Like these little buttons right here, whatever they are, lights, they're cleanly painted on there. And that's great. And around the legs and the arms, or around here like this, try and get it focused in on it. That like copper gold paint right here, like it just looks so good. Like and inside that gunmetal, that gunmetal gray that's inside the legs right here, it just looks so good. And I mean, I can go on all day about how good this figure is. And I mean, I've already gone on a little bit about the articulation, and I love the eyes, the color of the eyes. It just, this figure is just, I'm lost for words. This figure is just so good. I love it. He's even got pretty reminiscent of the original Stormtroopers' backs, this little square part right here, which, I mean, he is an Imperial droid. You can see the Imperial insignia on his shoulders and everything. But I think I've gone on long enough about how great this figure is. I think I'm just going to go into articulation, and I've gone over some of it, but this figure has so much articulation. I mean, he can look up about that far, pretty far down, and he has two joints at the neck. Like, he has one down here and a ball peg up here, so he has 2 ball pegs, and that allows him to like rotate his head and everything, and also allows him to do like a kind of club dancing type thing if you want him to. And you just get so much good range of motion out of the neck. It's just unreal. And like I've said, you can rotate his head left to right. And his arms, they don't raise up at 90-degree angles, but for a droid doesn't need to raise his arms that high. I mean, it's not bad. And I love how they incorporated this articulation where this piece right here folds and goes underneath that piece, so that way it doesn't like chip any of the paint or any of the parts or anything. It's just incorporated, done so well. And you're able to rotate his arm all the way around. He has a cut right here at the upper arm bicep. You can he has a single jointed elbow, which is just enough, especially since you get a forward and a backwards bend. And it also has a cut right here, right below the elbow, and as well right here at the wrist, and his wrists do hinge up and down, and it does rotate. And he does get pretty good range of motion for a droid right here in the diaphragm part. I mean, I mean, that's some really good posing options. And going into the legs, he can move his legs up pretty high, maybe even, yeah, he can move his legs that high. Like, he can sweet chin music the shit out of you if he wanted to, or if that's what it's called, Shawn Michaels. And he can kick his leg backwards pretty far too. I mean, that's outstanding for a droid. And you can also get a better look at that paint down there. It just looks so good. And I just love this figure. And he has a cut right here above the knee. He also has the same forward and backward bending right there, but he has a cut right there below the knee. Nothing down here at the ankles, but he does have ankle pivot and he can do the same thing. He can rotate all the way up and all the way down, and that's just so good. Like, this figure probably has the most articulation than any of the other Black Series figures. I mean, I hate to say it, but this is probably one of the best Black Series figures Hasbro has ever put out. The amount of detail and the amount of articulation they put into this figure is just uncanny. It is so good. Like, I can't get over it. Like, I don't know, I could go on all day about this figure, but I don't want to waste your time and bore you guys with saying that this figure is so good. But unfortunately, there is a few flaws with how good this figure is. Just like every figure is not a perfect figure. Like you can see right now, he doesn't stand up. He has a hard time standing up sometimes. Like, I just got him balanced, but whenever you're trying to get him to stand up, he does have a situation where he has weak knees and this happens, or he just falls over like that, and then you just gotta keep positioning until he's balanced. But besides that, I don't see any major flaws, though. Just that the weak knees are the only thing keeping this figure from getting a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. And my final, like I've already gone over my final thoughts of this figure. This figure is amazing, and I absolutely love it. But unfortunately, it's not a perfect figure. Even though, alright, you know what? Screw it. I don't care about the weak knees. This figure gets a 100 out of 100, an A+. I rarely give figures a rating that high unless they truly deserve it, and I feel like this figure absolutely deserves a 100 out of 100. If you see this in stores, I highly recommend you pick this up. This figure, yep, this figure is just, if you're new to the Black Series, start with this one, and just start off on a good note. This is one of the best Black Series figures out there, and I think that's going to do it for this review. I will, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share my content, and also if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more awesome content, and I will see you guys later.